If you're sick of feeling invisible and undesirable because you're not 6 feet tall, watch this video training so you can become the exception women break all the rules for. All right, gentlemen, welcome to another installment of Short Guy Game. Y'all absolutely loved the last one I did on how you can set up your Hinge profile as a shorter man and effortlessly land 2 to 3 dates a week. It got like over 1,000 views in under 3 days. So glad y'all saw the value in that. And, a lot of you guys started messaging me like, you talk about building the aesthetic body, but like, how can I actually train accordingly to get that physique? What kind of workouts do I need to do? What exercises? What kind of diet? So in this video presentation, I'm going to cover step by step the exact blueprint you can follow to achieve this body type. So women are literally batting eyes on you anytime you're walking around in public. Girls are checking you out. You're even getting approached here and there. And then when you throw a nice shirtless photo, maybe on your Instagram story or your dating app profile, girls are just coming in inbound, right? You don't even have to message them first because they see you as that guy. Sound fair? All right, let's get right to it, boys. So let's go over my transformation. So back here, this was me. I weighed about, I think, 165, 170 pounds right here. And I was going to the gym. I was actually very, very passionate about, fitness and working out. But if you look at my physique, it really didn't look like, I took my health or fitness too serious. Like I kind of looked like a pudgy little marshmallow. And during this time, what I really wanted, my main motivator was to attract women. But it seemed like no matter how hard I tried, women just didn't find me desirable at all. They were actually honestly repulsed by me. When I would walk around in public, I would try and hold eye contact with a girl and they wouldn't even notice me. I was like straight up invisible to these girls. So I was like, you know what? Maybe, girls are just shy in public. So let me try cold approach. And when I started doing cold approach, it was honestly absolutely humiliating. Like props to me for having the courage to do that, because I know most of you guys watching this video don't even have the balls to go up to a girl and talk to her. At least I did, but still, like, that was still pretty fucking brutal if I'm being honest. Like these girls, they'd have closed off body language. They wouldn't be facing me. They'd give me just one-liners. And like sometimes I'd even approach a group of girls and they'd all just be looking at me like, why is this guy talking to us? And like, I could see the disgust in their face and it just made me feel horrible. It made me feel undesired. And, I was so embarrassed. So I would literally go on Reddit and vent about, getting rejected and girls, not finding me attractive. And the reason I'd go on Reddit is because I had no one else to talk to. Like, I didn't want to talk about this kind of stuff to my friends because I was too embarrassed. So I would literally just vent and like talk about it on Reddit. And, eventually I tried going on dating apps. And that was like the final nail in the coffin because like I would try every single app, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all the different apps. And across the week, I'd get maybe like 5 or 6 matches. And like, bro, these are like not attractive girls. These girls are like fat. They're ugly. They got like acne. They got like weird personalities and hobbies. Girls you would not want to touch with a 10-foot pole. So that's when I said enough. And I decided to cut down. But it wasn't just because like my experience with dating. I just really wanted to feel confident with the man in the mirror. And that's another big thing with building the aesthetic body. Not only does it make you more physically attractive, but because you become more confident and you carry yourself differently because you're actually proud of the man you see every morning, you just display more confidence and masculinity and it makes women just absolutely obsessed with you. But anyways, I lost about 20 pounds I lost about 25 pounds, something like that. And I got pretty lean. This was back in 2023. And this was the best I'd ever looked in my life. Now I have a lot more muscle now, but like, I always felt really good about myself. And I noticed girls started checking me out a lot more, but because of my past with women, I was kind of in denial. Like girls were like checking me out left and right. And that was something I'd never experienced before. And I kind of thought it was too good to be true, or maybe I just kind of have an ego and I'm being self-centered and thinking the world revolves around me. Until I finally put it to the test and took this photo and created a Bumble account. And under 6 hours of creating my Bumble, I got 200 likes. Like, bro, Like that was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. Like I told you what my dating apps were like before. I couldn't really get a match to save my life. Now all of a sudden my inbox is flooded with all these beautiful girls that I never thought I'd be able to attract. And it's all because I built the aesthetic body. This was absolutely game changer. Once you build the aesthetic physique, not only are you going to be able to get, endless amounts of matches on dating apps, but you're going to get girls looking at you, staring at you, giving you a double take, and even approaching you sometimes. So without further ado, let's go over exactly step by step how you can achieve this physique so you can get the same results as me. So my promise to you by the end of this video presentation is you will know step by step everything you need to do to build the aesthetic body and effortlessly attract more women than you ever have before. And like I said, I don't mean just any woman. I don't mean like the 3s and the 4s. I mean like the girls that you are genuinely attracted to, the girls that are your type, the 7s, the 8s, even the 9s, right? I'm not going to say 10s because nobody's a fucking 10 unless you're like a celebrity or something, but you get the idea. Like your quality of dating, not just looks wise, but these girls' personalities is going to be nothing you've ever experienced before. Like life is totally different on the other side. So let's go over the rejection proof formula. So there's 2 factors to creating the physique that makes you absolutely rejection proof. And when I say rejection proof, there's actually studies to back this up. When you have the perfect golden ratios, the perfect shoulder to waist ratio where your shoulders are broader than your waistline is slim, there's studies that show that this is what creates the true, just biological primal attraction in women where they can't help but desire you, right? It's the same thing when you see a woman with the hourglass figure, right? You can't help but look because it's in your human nature. So in order to create this, look, we need to prioritize the correct proportions, but also being at a low enough body fat percentage. This is important because if you're not at a low enough body fat percentage, you're not going to be as attractive as you could be. You're not going to be as chiseled, and you might not have the V-taper aesthetic, right? You need to be about like anywhere between 12 to 8% body fat. And one thing I forgot to mention about the golden ratio study. So the study actually showed it doesn't matter what flaw you have. You could be literally bald. You could have like acne. You could have a facial deformity, or you could be short like me and you. And women won't care because you just strike that animalistic attraction where she can't help but be attracted to you because it's in her biological nature. So without further ado, let's go over some common mistakes. So there are some crucial mistakes you are probably making that are preventing you from ever sculpting the aesthetic body. So a big problem is guys will go to the gym. They will go to the gym relentlessly, every single day, tracking their macros. And you'll hear them say things like, man, like, ever since I started working out and hitting the gym, like I actually haven't gotten any attention from women. Like only other dudes are complimenting me. Like guys in the locker room are telling me I look big and like telling me like, hey bro, what's your workout? Hey man, your arms are looking huge. You're looking swole, bro. But like, I don't even think women are attracted to muscles. This is not true, gentlemen. This is not true. And the reason you guys believe this is because a couple mistakes we're going to cover real quick. So the first mistake is falling for the bodybuilding trap. So as a shorter man, really in general, women do not find the bodybuilder look attractive despite popular belief, but especially as a shorter man, doing this whole like bodybuilding, trying to be the biggest guy in the room, it just doesn't work out. And I get it. Like these guys like Lee Priest, the Trend Twins, it's cool. It's motivating, right? What's that one golden era bodybuilder? Danny Padilla, man. That dude was so fucking cool. Like I used to look up to that guy, right? But the problem is that physique women don't find attractive. And as a shorter man, it actually looks like you're overcompensating for your lack of height. Like a lot of women are going to think like, this guy is insecure. He's coping for the fact that he's short, right? Just kind of looks like you're trying to like prove a point, which makes you even less attractive, not just physically, but like as a person. Women don't want a guy who isn't very confident, whether that's true or not. Look, I'm just telling you how it is. You might disagree, but I get it, bro. Like if you're competing in bodybuilding, props to you, man. I respect that, but understand like you're definitely not optimizing towards the female gaze because men and women are drawn to different things. But again, if you compete, I respect that, but understand what you're setting yourself up for. So the next problem, bulking. Bulking is keeping you invisible. All right. I get it. You will build more muscle on a bulk, but that doesn't mean you have to do a bulk in order to build muscle, right? So here's the deal. I used to go on these crazy bulks. I already showed you the other picture of me. Here's another picture of me on one of my bulks. Yeah, I look fucking big, but I'm also fat. I'm like 25% body fat here, bro. Like, did you think any girls looking at me? No. I told you what happened when I tried to approach those girls. They wouldn't even hold eye contact with me. They were looking at me like, why is this guy talking to us? This guy is like fucking weird. Like, what is wrong with this guy? And it's because, like, you know, sure, I have clothes on so they can't see that I'm fat, but your face, it gets all bloated and puffy and you lose all facial definition and you don't look as attractive. But also it's like, as a shorter man, you're already fighting an uphill battle, you know, not having the whole height thing going for you, right? Women prefer a guy who's taller. That's just the nature of the game, right? That doesn't mean you can't get a girl if you're short. That's 100% not true at all. In fact, I have so many videos teaching you guys how to effortlessly attract women as a shorter man. But here's the deal. Short guy game, the concept I coined is, you know, as a shorter man, since you're fighting an uphill battle, you got to pick your struggle. You got to pick your struggle. And I would rather struggle in the one area that's outside of my control, which is my height, right? What variables are in my control? Well, my finances, my looks, my physique, right? So you can't be fat and short. Like, pick your struggle, bro. Like, women don't like fat dudes, and they definitely don't like short fat asses, okay? So you don't have to bulk. I know you'll build more muscle this way, but there's other ways around this, and I'm going to break down exactly how you can work around this so you can effortlessly strip off all the body fat while packing on tons of lean muscle faster than you can believe it. And then the big lie. Women prefer dad bods. I didn't even put text on this slide because I just wanted to make this raw and from the heart. Like, you guys, I'm going to be honest. Like, you're a fucking idiot if you really believe women prefer dad bods. This is just pure cope to let yourself go. Like, bro, let me make this clear. When a woman says she likes dad bods, she's not talking about fucking Seth Rogen or Peter Griffin or Homer Simpson or some bullshit like that. When women say they like dad bods, they're talking about a guy who's already like pretty jacked, right? He's pretty muscular, but you know, he likes eating food a little more than the average gym bro, or maybe he just finished his bulking cycle, right? But he's in like that, you know, 17 to 18% body fat range, maybe 20%, but certainly not higher, right? Like, you can tell this guy lifts, he just eats a little more food. In fact, someone on my Instagram, he put it perfectly because I posted a reel about this the other day and everyone went like crazy in the comments. And he was like, when women say they like dad bods, they're talking about Chris Bumstead in the off season or Henry Cavill in Superman. I was like, bro, you hit the nail with the hammer. Like, that is exactly what they mean. They're not talking about fucking Seth Rogen having a beer gut, tits, you know, your waistline being wider than your clavicles. Like, you're built like a woman. You got a pear-shaped physique. Like, you look estrogenic. You don't look like a man, right? So beware of novice purgatory. So a lot of guys, they fall into this trap of novice purgatory. Now, I didn't coin this term. This came from another YouTuber. His name's Revival Fitness. So I got to give credit where credit's due. But most guys never make progress after their first year or two of lifting. Like, look around your gym. You'll notice that most guys, they look the same month after month, year after year. They're lifting the same weights. They make no physical changes, right? And this is because one of 5 mistakes, if not all. So the first mistake is you guys are spending way too much time in the gym, right? And by the way, this photo of me right here, this was me 4 years into the gym. 4 years into the gym. Imagine spending 4 years in the gym, going to the gym, you know, almost every single day, tracking your macros, just going all in, making it your personality, watching all the YouTube videos, all the TikToks, trying to optimize your routine. And this is what you look like. Like, that's fucking brutal, bro. Like, you should look like this after your first year, maybe second year of lifting, depending on your genetics. But 4 years to look like this, that's bullshit, bro. That's fucking bullshit. And the problem I was making, and the problem I see a lot of other guys make, is they're going to the gym every single day. You don't need to do push-pull legs 6 days a week. Like, your body isn't going to recover from all of that, right? It's too much volume. It's too much frequency. It's too much. And then other guys, you know, they'll do too much volume, right? They're, doing 10 exercises a workout, 20 exercises a workout, doing all these sets, like 30 sets a week. No. Cut that garbage. That's too much. I know Arnold says you got to like shock the muscle, confuse the muscle. But when you're on steroids, it's a different game, right? We're not on steroids, right? So you don't need to be living in the gym. Less is actually more. I only go to the gym 3 days a week, and I'm making the best gains of my life. You could even do 4 days a week, but 3 days is the sweet spot. And I'm going to break down later on in this presentation exactly how you can structure your workouts just like mine so you can build the aesthetic body and pack on size and strength faster than you ever have before. Number 2, this was a big mistake I used to make, and that was not prioritizing clean eating. I don't care that Greg Doucette or any of these fucking bodybuilders are telling you, oh yeah, you can just drink chocolate milk and, eat protein pancakes and protein French toast. Like, no. That's fucking garbage. Not all calories were created equally. It's not just about the macros. Micros are just as important. And when you're eating all this processed garbage, like fast food and all these weird fucking recipes that look like they were made in like a laboratory by these bodybuilders who literally get out of breath walking up the stairs, you're depriving your body of essential nutrients, which is fucking up your hormones. Like, this is why you feel low energy all the time. This is why you have low testosterone. This is why you have brain fog. This is why you got all this shit going on, bro. It's why your mindset's fucked. It's why you think girls don't like short guys, because you're operating from just like a lower frequency, right? You need to eat single ingredient whole foods. That way you can actually provide your body with the nutrients it needs to regulate its hormones and maximize muscle growth, right? Not only will this allow you to build muscle better, but it'll make your skin better, your hair better. You'll be able to tan easier, and you'll overall just feel high energy like you never have before. This is what really made my gains go to the next level and made me genuinely believe that I was on steroids, because I looked like this for 4 years, like this in this picture. And then later on in this transformation, you're going to see, or in this presentation, the transformation I made when I finally swapped my diet. Number 3, struggling with analysis paralysis. Look, I get it. You want the perfect routine, but if you're just trying to optimize every other week, it doesn't matter how perfect your routine is. You're never going to reap the benefits. Consistency is the name of the game. You could have the worst program in the world, but if you're consistent, you're going to make better gains than the guy who's constantly looking for the next best thing. Number 4, this is a big one, not prioritizing progressive overload. Again, you will see the same guys in the gym month after month, year after year, still curling the 25-pound dumbbells. Like, bro, this is why your biceps are small. You have to get stronger. Look at any of the best natural lifters who have a respectable physique. They're all brutally strong on key exercises, right? It's all about getting strong. You have to train intensely, but if you're not getting stronger, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Number 5, over-consuming the science-based TikTok. So this kind of bleeds into the analysis paralysis thing, but science-based lifting. Look, I'm all for science-based lifting. I think it's phenomenal that we have all these amazing resources that'll teach us how to lift. But the problem is when you're over-consuming this media, one, you're going to struggle with analysis paralysis, but you also got to, concern yourself with the source this is coming from. Like, why are they posting this content? Are they just posting this to get a sale from their course or their program? Are they just trying to get more views? So they're constantly switching up their rhetoric on what they say is optimal and not optimal, right? These guys will say one week, don't do hammer curls, and they'll say do hammer curls. They'll like say, don't do this, don't do that. Then they'll say to do it every other week. They're switching up because they run out of content ideas to make, so they just have to fucking lie to their audience because they know you'll believe whatever they say just because they have a half-decent physique. So those are the mistakes leaving you in novice purgatory. Let's go over the new way, the average to aesthetics protocol. Now you will be effortlessly stripping off body fat and packing on lean muscle so fast that you genuinely believe you're on steroids. Oh, and by the way, in case you were wondering, women are going to be checking you out left and right. Like, you are genuinely going to be experiencing imposter syndrome because of the amount of girls looking at you in public, giving you the stare, giving you the double take, giving you choosing signals, standing in your vicinity, approaching you, and then the matches that you're going to be getting on dating apps is going to be nothing you ever experienced before. And let me remind you, it's not going to just be ugly chicks. Like, these are going to be hot, attractive women that you never thought you had a chance with. So let's break down the average to aesthetics protocol. So it's 4 different steps. So the first step is you are the architect. Think like you're Michelangelo or whoever any of these fucking, I don't know what they're called, but they make like the Greek god statues back in the ancient days. Think of yourself as the artist, right? You're sculpting yourself into a Greek god, right? Step number 2, and I kind of already alluded to this earlier, but minimalist training. Guys, we don't need to live in the gym, right? We just want to work out, make gains, and move on to better things in our life. We don't want to make our life revolved around the gym. We don't want to be one of these dorks who always talks about the gym, always has to get his Tupperware and bring it everywhere he goes, can't enjoy eating out with his friends and family, is always like going to bed early because he has to, recover for the gym and he can't go out and hang out with his friends. Like, we're not trying to be some antisocial gym cell fucking loser, right? We actually want to live life while making gains. And you'll find when you follow the minimalist training approach, you actually make better gains. Number 3, holistic dieting. Like I said, no more of this like processed food garbage. Yeah, you can have cheat meals here and there, and I'll go over how you can implement cheat meals. But, we want to stick to mainly single ingredient whole foods. And you'll find, 1, you're making the best gains of your life. But 2, all those sugary processed meals that you used to eat, you actually won't enjoy them like you used to, because the way this new diet's going to make you feel when your taste buds are rewired, when they're resynthesized, and you can actually appreciate real food, you're not going to want to go back because you're going to feel amazing, and you're actually going to prefer how this food tastes because it doesn't taste like artificial. It doesn't taste like chemicals. Number 4 is going to be fat loss overdrive. This is how we're going to finally chisel out the physique so you can be lean and aesthetic, and women are just looking at you, bro. So without further ado, step number 1, you are the architect. So we got to cover the male versus the female gaze because this is absolutely critical for you to understand. Remember, I told you, women, they don't like the bodybuilder look. Yeah, it's cool being the big guy, being the biggest guy in the room. But like, bro, genuinely, like, why do you need to be the biggest guy in the room? Like, why do you need to impress all these other guys? Oh, yeah, I'm 200 pounds. I'm not victim weight. Like, bro, like, if you're attracted to dudes, I mean, that's cool, whatever. I respect that. But like, you clicked on this video because you wanted to be more attracted to girls. You wanted to get dates. You want girls checking you out. You want your dating life just to be effortlessly, easy. You want to be able to go on dates. And most women don't prefer the bodybuilder look. Oh, but Arnold in Pumping Iron, girls were all over him. Yeah, because he's fucking Arnold, bro. You're just some dipshit watching my YouTube video. Like, we're just regular people. We're not celebrities. We're not famous. We're not influencers, right? The body type that women are the most attracted to, and this is like the perfect example. This was like a big motivation for me when I first started going to the gym, is Zac Efron in Baywatch. Like, when this movie first came out, girls were going crazy for him. They were like, holy shit, he's so hot. Oh my gosh, his body. And it's because he has those perfect golden ratio proportions while being at a low enough body fat percentage, like I talked about earlier on in this presentation. He's got the broad shoulders. He's got the chiseled upper chest. He's got the six pack. He's got the slim waist with the V cuts, and he's got the vascularity and the leanness, right? He just has like that perfect look that women can't resist, right? So I'm going to teach you guys exactly how you can train accordingly, what muscles you need to train so you can achieve this physique. So when you're sculpting your statue, there's 7 muscles that create the aesthetic body, right? And the first muscle group is going to be the shoulders. And when it comes to the shoulders, there's a big myth going around. Oh, you don't need to target the front delts because they get stimulated from all your other pressing exercises. And just look at those guys' shoulders. Just look at their shoulders. They're not impressive, right? So your shoulders are broken up into 3 heads. There's the front, side, and rear delts. Now, there is some truth to that statement. You don't need to go balls to the walls with your front delts because they do get stimulated. But in order to really have like 3-dimensional cannonball delts, the ones that where guys are like, oh, he's not natural because he has big capped shoulders. You want to train your front delts, and you want to do some type of overhead press. That is what's going to give you those 3-dimensional 3D cap delts that are just ripping out of your shirt. And then for the side delts, this is what's really going to give you that 3D look. And you want to do either a lateral raise or my favorite exercise, which is apparently controversial, but I think it's the best shoulder exercise you can possibly do, is the upright row, right? Now, if you get rotator cuff pain from it, fair enough. Don't do it. But if you can do it comfortably, dude, this is when you start to get like the fake natty accusations, because people are like, holy shit, you got big shoulders. Like, what are you taking? And you're like, oh, I just do upright rows, right? And then lastly, for rear delts, just like a rope face pull. This is an awesome exercise. It kind of hits the traps too. And it just really gives your, shoulders that 3D look. And it just keeps your shoulders healthy. Like, you could do it twice a week. And then next is the lats. Now, I realized I kind of got ahead of myself. So when you know as much as I do, when you've been training like me and you know how to build the aesthetic body and you've helped other guys, achieve this look before, you kind of get carried away. I'm not supposed to be talking about exercise selection yet. So I'll get onto that later on in this presentation. So for now, I'm just going to break down kind of like the reasons why you want to prioritize these muscles. But the next muscle group is going to be the lats. And this is what really gives you that V-taper aesthetic, that upside down Dorito body, as they call it. Specifically, the shoulders and the lats are going to be the most important muscles for the aesthetic body, because that's what gives you that V-taper aesthetic. In fact, I have these numbered from, 1 to 7, from most important to least important. They're all important, but this is like the priority, right? So lats are going to be very important for getting that V-taper, giving you that width. Number 3, the upper chest. So a lot of guys struggle with their upper chest. A lot of guys struggle with this. A lot of guys, they just do flat benching, which is good. Flat barbell bench, phenomenal exercise. One of the best chest exercises you can do. However, that really only hits the mid and lower chest. And a lot of guys will get really strong at the flat bench, but then their chest just doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing. It's kind of saggy and droopy like man tits, because they never prioritize the upper chest. So when it comes to chest, you want 2/3 of your volume to actually be upper chest related. That way, your upper chest is growing at a faster rate than your lower chest. And when you do upper chest pressing or flies, your lower chest your whole chest still gets hit. So it works out, right? But this is what really gives you like that manly, just masculine Greek god aesthetic look. It makes you stand out, because most guys don't have a developed upper chest. And like when you're wearing like a nice like V-neck or a tank top, or maybe you got like a button down and it's like kind of unbuttoned, like, this is when like girls are going to be like looking at you and they're going to be like, damn, right? Because you just stand out, and other guys are going to think you're bigger than you are. And it's simply because you're prioritizing these proportions that most guys don't prioritize. Most guys just mindlessly train in the gym. They just try and get as big as possible. But when you focus on the proportions, all of a sudden you're going to get more compliments than you ever have before. And you're going to get a lot of girls checking you out. Number 4, the abs. Pretty self-explanatory. Not much to explain here. I think we all know this. Like, girls, they love a six-pack. But what's key with the six-pack, everyone says abs are made in the kitchen. There's some truth to that, but a better saying is abs are revealed in the kitchen and they're made in the gym. You still got to train your abs. That's what's really going to give them that blocky look and let you still have like some visible ab definition even when you're at higher body fats, because it's just like any other muscle. You got to train it, right? Number 5, the biceps. So another mistake. Everyone wants to get big arms, so they're told, focus on triceps to make up 2/3 of the arms. Not bad advice. That will get you bigger arms. However, when you have like these big horseshoe triceps that just hang off your arms, it's not the most aesthetic thing in the world. You still want big triceps, but biceps are going to be far more important. They make your arms look more aesthetic, but also if you've seen any of these like TikTok street interviews where they're always like, what's the most attractive muscle on a guy? They always say the abs, of course, but the other muscle they say is the biceps. So you want to prioritize the biceps over the triceps, especially like when you got like a big like bicep vein, like bro, that's just like ultimate sex appeal right there. But next, the traps and the neck. So I didn't start training my neck till about 4 months ago, and the difference it's made in my attractiveness is night and day. I wish I put like a photo on here so you could see like a before and after, but just go on Google Images, look up like neck training before and after, and you'll see the kind of difference it makes in your physique. It makes you look more masculine. It makes you look just higher testosterone, more manly. If you look at any like Hollywood actor or male model, they all train neck because it just makes you look more attractive, right? So the key with the neck is you want the corners of your jaw to be parallel with your neck. And I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting there, but definitely better than I was 4 months ago. And then lastly, the forearms. The forearms are ultimate sex appeal, man. When you're wearing like a button down and you got like the sleeves rolled, women go crazy for that. Like there's like girls will say it reminds them of a man's like fucking schlong. So there's that for you. But yeah, let's go over minimalistic training. So this is how you're going to train to build muscle than you can. What am I saying? Build muscle faster than you can believe it. So pack on strength faster than a juiced up bodybuilder. Size and strength faster than a juiced up bodybuilder. So like I said, we're only going to be lifting 3 days a week. 3 days a week. That's all you need. Anything else? Overkill. It's unnecessary. In fact, I promise you this. I used to train, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. And when I finally reduced it to 4, I realized, man, like I wasn't recovering in the gym. Like I thought I was recovered, but I didn't realize it because I was so used to being in a fatigued state. And then I reduced my training frequency to 4 days, right? I reduced it to 4 days and I realized like, oh wow, I'm getting a lot stronger, a lot faster. And I was like, wow, like this is next level. So I did that for like 6 or 8 months, something like that. And then I switched to 3 days. 4 days is good, but when I switched to 3 days, I was like, holy shit, I'm smashing PRs every single workout. And these are like big PRs. Like 2 weeks ago on dumbbell incline bench, I did the 85s for 4. Last week, I did the 85s for 6. That's what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I did the 90s for 4. Next week, I'm going to smash them for 5 to 6 reps. Like, dude, I'm just getting stronger on every single exercise every single week. And all of a sudden it's like, dude, you like fall in love with the gym again. Like, sure, you're passionate about the gym, but like when you're making progress every single workout on almost every single exercise, like you just become addicted because you're in this like positive feedback loop where you just get addicted to the gym and you can't wait to get to your next workout. Like you're bored on rest days because you're like, fuck, I want to be in the gym. But then like you go into the gym and you got this like high energy, your mind's in the right spot. And all of a sudden you're just smashing PRs because 1, you're recovered, but 2, like you're just in the right mindset because like you're getting stronger. You're excited to go to the gym. So like if you're someone who's like, you lack discipline when it comes to the gym, try 3 days a week, bro. It will change your perspective and you will fall in love with the gym because it's like a video game. You're progressing every single week and you're like building so much strength faster than you ever have before, but also you're building muscle faster. Because remember what I said about strength? In order to build muscle, you have to get stronger. Look at anyone with a respectable physique. They are strong. They are brutally strong. So next, to maximize recovery so you can recover maximize recovery so you can optimize muscle growth and strength progression on a consistent linear basis. You got to keep it minimalist, man. You only need to do like 1 to 3 exercises per muscle group. Like anything else is overkill. In fact, most muscle groups, I would say just do 2 exercises. Just do 2. There's a few muscle groups where you can do 3. In fact, like on back, I do 3 exercises. Technically 2. So on my first upper body day, I will do a weighted chin up. And then the other day I do a neutral grip pull up. It's technically the same exercise, just different grips. And then I'll do a row. So I'm doing more of like a horizontal pull because for back, there's vertical and horizontal pulling. So for that makes sense to do 3 exercises. And then chest, where it's broken up into, upper and lower chest. It's okay to do 3 exercises. And then shoulders, you got 3 different heads of the shoulders. So of course, you're going to do 3 exercises. But for everything else, 1 to 2 exercises is plenty, man. 1 to 2 is plenty, right? You only need to do about like 5 to 6 exercises in a workout. I know that doesn't sound like much. Like this on paper, it sounds so easy. You're like, bro, this is going to be boring. Like, and dude, you're going to see like, if you're actually training as hard as you need to, it's not going to be boring. And even if it is boring, at the end of the day, I challenge you this. What's more fun? Going to the gym more and making mediocre progress, or going to the gym less and actually seeing changes in the mirror? I think the answer is pretty obvious. We want to keep the volume low. We want to keep the training volume low. Now, most people already understand this. This has become a lot more popular over the past few years, doing low training volume. So on every muscle group, I do anywhere between 5 to 7 sets a week. About that. Yeah, 5 to 7 sets a week for each muscle group. Actually, no, probably more like 4 to 6. I think I'd have to look at my program, but something like that. The idea is you want to keep it low because this is what's going to allow you to recover. But also, like, when you're doing low volume, not just on like a weekly basis, but per workout, every exercise you do, you gain a little more fatigue. So each set is worse than the next. So when you keep the volume low, you're not going to run into as much fatigue into each workout. So you're going to be able to get stronger on each workout, throughout the session. Because if you've noticed, if you do like 7, 8 exercises in a workout, like by the time you're getting to like exercise like 5, like you're way, way weaker than you were before. So, keep the exercises selection low, and then, keep the volume low. And then as far as rep ranges go, for the most part, I'd say like 85% of your work should be done in like the 4 to 10 rep range. This is like the money spot. And then like, it's okay to go below that and it's okay to go above that. But the majority of your work, 4 to 10 rep ranges, is a really good range to build muscle in. And then lastly, high intensity. So I used to be one of these guys who promotes, training to failure, Mike Mincer, Dorian Yates style. I'm not against that. But for this training style particularly, I find that leaving a rep in the tank is perfect, right? I don't actually go to failure really at all anymore, unless it's like something like a bicep curl or like a lateral raise. That's different, single joint, like it's fine. But any of my compounds, I'm leaving a rep, sometimes 2 reps in the tank. And I find that this maximizes recovery and it allows me to, pack on strength on a much more consistent basis, but also manage that recovery during the workout so I can continue getting stronger and smash PRs on almost every exercise and every set of the routine, right? So I would avoid failure on most things. It's really not necessary. There's studies that show as long as you're 5 reps away from failure, you'll still build muscle, right? Now, I wouldn't do 5 reps in reserve, but 1 to 2 and then occasionally 0, perfect range to be in. So exercises that get you fucking jacked. So 2/3 of your training volume needs to be compound exercises, right? So if we're going to be following a minimalist routine, guys, if we're only going to be doing 5 to 6 exercises a workout and only 1 to 3 exercises per muscle group a week, we want to get the most bang for our buck out of our exercise selection. So compound exercises are going to build the most amount of muscle, right? This is going to target multiple muscle groups. You're going to be able to go heavy. You're going to be able to train intensely with them. And, you're just going to be able to lift more weight. It's going to allow you to build more muscle. And as far as compound exercises go, weighted calisthenics are a cheat code. These have always been a staple in my routine. Weighted chin-ups, weighted dips, weighted push-ups, stuff like that, man. Because think about it. If you can lift your body weight plus like weight strapped to your waistline, like the body weight of like a miniature human being, dude, you're going to have you're going to build muscle faster than you can believe it. Like, this is a cheat code. Like, look at me here. I'm doing chin-ups with 90 pounds attached to my body. That's more than half my body weight. Like, if you can do that for reps, you're going to have big arms. You're going to have big lats. Like, it's literally impossible to not build a respectable physique doing, weighted pull-ups. And it doesn't matter what grip you do. You could do chin-ups, neutral grip, overhand, whatever. Pick one, stick to it. On day 1, I do a chin up, which is underhand. And then on day 3, my other upper body day, I do neutral grip, right? Just pick 2 of those. Boom, money. That's all I do for back. And then I'll do a barbell row. And then for dips, man, like phenomenal exercise to hit the triceps, the chest, the shoulders. They say the dip is the upper body squat, and it's 100% true. 100% true. Now, free weights over machines. Let me make this clear. I'm not against machines and cables. I use machines and cables in my workouts all the time. In fact, most of my leg training is on machines, right? But for everything else, especially the upper body, I find that free weights are just better. I've always made better gains, training with free weights. That doesn't mean you can't use machines or cables, but I don't know. Something about free weights, man. It's cool. It's fun. Feels like high testosterone lifting with a barbell. You know what I mean? And then lastly, don't neglect isolation work. So this was a huge mistake I made early on. I don't think most of you guys are making this mistake, but maybe some of you guys are. So I know I said most of your training needs to be compound exercises, but we still need to isolate the muscles, especially your weak points, especially like the aesthetic muscle groups that I talked about earlier, your delts, lats, upper chest, biceps, all that, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. Big mistake I made. So my fitness journey, it started on Reddit. And everyone on Reddit tells you, oh, yeah, you don't need to train your arms because they get indirectly hit from your compounds like bench press and barbell rows. Worst advice in the world. If you want to look like shit, just take that advice. I have yet to meet a person who has a respectable physique who doesn't do isolation work. And, I just challenge you to look up like what a Reddit moderator looks like. And then you'll see, yeah, probably don't want to look like that. I don't think I'm going to take your advice on how to lift weights and how to work out, right? So do your isolation work. You're doing yourself a solid. Now, let's go over my favorite exercises for each muscle group. So I'm going to go back a few slides so I can look at each. Okay. Yeah. So for shoulders, I already went over that, but I'll go over it again. Barbell overhead press. Best bang for your buck. Upright row for the side delts. Face pulls for the rear delts. You can do any kind of shoulder press. It can be dumbbell, barbell, behind the neck. Just pick one, stick to it, get brutally strong. Lats. Like I said, any type of weighted pull-up variation. And if doing a weighted pull-up seems just like totally unfeasible to you, I'm telling you, bro, you can get to repping a plate, a 45-pound plate on your weighted pull-up in about 2 months, if not less. So my challenge to you is work up to doing 15 clean reps on a body weight pull-up. It doesn't matter what variation, just do 15 clean reps, chest to bar. And then when you can do that with good form, add weight, buy a belt, add 10 pounds, do like anywhere between 3 to 6 reps, something like that for a couple sets. And just add 5 pounds every single week. And then when you plateau on that, start adding, the little 2.5 pounds every single week. But that's going to get you some massive lats and some big biceps. Upper chest, barbell incline bench. That's my bread and butter. Lately, I've liked dumbbell a lot, but barbell is going to be the best. By the way, I have a full presentation on how you can build your upper chest. I'll link that in the description of this video. So if you want to watch that next, I'll have it linked below and you can check it out. Abs. You don't need to train your abs too much because they do get indirectly hit from all your compounds and just moving around on a day-to-day basis. But the hanging leg raise is going to be your best bang for your buck. Biceps. I'm old school. I like barbell curls. I like dumbbell curls. But any kind of curl is good. Just pick one, stick to it. A curl is a curl. It really doesn't matter which one you do. You don't need to get all fancy with it. Just pick one you like and get as strong as possible. And I find that when you do the simple exercises like a barbell curl or a dumbbell curl, you tend to be able to progress further on those because they're pretty, simple movements. Trap and necks, shrugs, and then for neck curls. Put a plate on your head. Bam. Easy. Forearms. I actually don't train my forearms. This is the one muscle group I don't train because I find when I do like heavy curls, pull-ups, rows, they get hit indirectly. Maybe it's just a genetic thing, but I got some pretty beefy forearms, man. I always get complimented on them. I've never trained them, but I know some people like reverse curls or they'll do like these like wrist curls. I don't know. Try it out. I've never trained them. I've never needed to. But those are the best exercises in my opinion. Now I'm going to go through a sample workout. So I do this workout every Monday. By the way, my split, I don't think I said my split. Monday's an upper body day. Wednesday's a lower body day. Friday's an upper body day. And Monday's upper body day is more chest focused. And then Friday's upper body is more shoulder focused. But as you can see, we got 6 exercises here. You can screenshot this. You can copy it. But kind of I'll explain why I do why I have it set up this way. So we got what's called reverse pyramid training. This is basically where you start, with your heavy set first, and you work your way down. Normal pyramid training, you're working your way up to that heavy set. Reverse pyramid training, you're working your way down to the light set, right? That way you can hit the heavy set while your body's fresh and recovered. So I really only do about 2 sets on every exercise. On my arm exercises, I do about 3. Now I am cutting, so that's why the volume's low. When I go back to my maintenance calories, I'll probably up the volume. But, just 2 sets. You want to do like maybe 1 set in the 4 to 6 rep range and then the second set in the 6 to 8, something like that. But that's how I structure it. And then as you can see, we leave everything with, 1 IRR. So 1 rep in reserve on just about every exercise. And then, your arm isolation, you can go 0 RIR. And maybe on the last set, push failure if you really want to. So holistic dieting. This is what changed the game for me, boys. This is what really changed the game for me. So before I break down this exact dieting approach, I just want to go over my transformation when I actually switched up the way I was eating. So this was me during my rock bottom. I was just a fucking fat ass. I was a loser. I was sitting in my room, jerking off, playing Fortnite till 3 a.m., unemployed, eating like a fat ass, just sitting on the couch like a fucking maniac, just eating chips or popcorn. This was also that time, when I said I would approach girls and they just looked absolutely repulsed by me. you could probably see why they felt that way, right? I mean, just look at me. But like I said, I reached that breaking point where I said, enough is enough. I can't continue to live this way. So I hopped on a diet. 500 calorie deficit, started losing about a pound or two a week. But not only that, I cleaned up the foods I was eating and I stuck to eating single ingredient whole foods, right? No processed food was eaten during this transformation. 90 days later, I weighed about, I think 152, 153 right here. And this was the best I'd ever looked in my life. Now, obviously I look way better now, but at the time I was really, really proud of my physique. I was like, wow, like I'm actually starting to like make progress for once in my life. Like I actually kind of look like I go to the gym. I kind of have some abs going on. I got some bicep veins. Beforehand, I was always just kind of like skinny fat. And not only did I lose the weight, but I built quite a bit of muscle during this cut too. And it was all because of the way I was training and the way that I was eating, single ingredient whole foods, optimizing my hormone profile and, eating in a way that's actually going to, be conducive for muscle growth. So when I reached this point, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do another bulk. I don't want to do another cut. I kind of just like how I look. Let's just eat at maintenance and see what happens. And the next 90 days is when the gains really went crazy, bro. They really went crazy. So right here, I weighed like 2 pounds lighter. I didn't really lose any weight. I weighed like 2 pounds lighter. And look how much different I look. I'm leaner. I'm tanner. I'm bigger. Like I look way better here than I do here. And it was literally just me continuing to eat and train the way I was. And I think the reason I made such substantial gains from here to here versus here to here, don't get me wrong, I made some great gains here, but I think the reason they were so much drastic here was because I increased the calorie intake. Now, one thing I will say is, I know I said don't bulk. You can bulk with this dieting approach. And I'll make a video on this another time, but essentially you just want to eat in like a 200 to 300 calorie surplus. Following this diet approach, and you'll stay decently lean. I do this, every so often, and I make some pretty good gains doing so. But anyways, let's go over the foods you need to eat. So the new way of eating. So the foundation to this diet. Let me start off with this. The food pyramid? Just flip that shit upside down. That's literally a psyop. Like if you aren't living under a rock, I think most people have woken up to this. But the food pyramid was literally just done by like lobbyists, by these like skinny fat, pale, skinny neck doctors just trying to make money, telling you, oh, you got to eat breakfast, eat grains. Grains are the foundation of your diet. Bro, grains are literally what's giving you brain fog. Like grains are good, but like if that's what the foundation of your diet, like you're going to feel like shit all the time. You're going to feel like shit and you're going to look like shit, right? They're literally making you weaker. So the foundation to your diet is going to be eggs and red meat. This is the most nutrient-dense food you could put into your body. And the best sources of red meat, in my opinion, are ground beef, specifically grass-fed ground beef, if you can afford it, and any kind of steak, New York strip, ribeye, whatever cut you like. And if you can afford grass-fed, obviously that's going to be better. But red meat is going to be better than no red meat, right? So if you can't afford grass-fed, still buy what you can afford. It's certainly better than nothing. Now, I can already hear some comments because some people are just out of touch with reality. They're going to be like, oh, you don't want to eat red meat. Red meat's bad for you, blah, 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 blah. Those studies on red meat were done on hot dogs and bologna. Hot dogs and bologna. It's not even real fucking food. It's food made in a factory, bro. So disregard that bullshit. Red meat is the most nutrient-dense food in the world. You're going to get like vitamin B12. You're going to get all these essential nutrients like zinc, iron. Like you're not going to get this eating fucking chicken and rice or whatever fucking bullshit you're eating, right? Notice how I don't have chicken and rice. Well, I have rice on here, but notice how I don't have like chicken breasts on here. I'm not against chicken breasts, but like, all these guys who are slamming chicken like bodybuilders, it's like, bro, like it's bland. It doesn't taste good. And it really isn't. It doesn't have like any micronutrients. It's just protein. That's why guys who only eat chicken and rice feel like shit. Now, some other sources of protein you can use is like salmon, maybe a couple times a week. And as far as carbs go, fruit is going to be your main carb source, and orange juice. You want to consume sugar. Everyone says don't eat sugar. This is what's going to maximize your thyroid so you can have a faster metabolism, right? Eating red meat will also boost your metabolism because one, you're going to be building muscle faster than you can believe it. You're going to be optimizing your hormones. But two, red meat digests very fast. So your metabolism is going to be a lot faster. And you're going to find that you're going to be able to increase your calorie intake while still losing weight, which is really cool, right? Who doesn't want to eat more food? And then as far as carbs go, I said fruit, but also just like potatoes. It could be sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, golden potatoes, whatever you like. White rice, sourdough bread, and then, seasoning your food. You can use like butter. Make sure it's like a grass-fed butter, and then like salt, pepper, garlic powder, paprika, stuff like that. Now, feasting like a king. No more chicken and rice and broccoli and that bullshit. And we're definitely not going to do this bodybuilding bullshit where you eat 6 days a week. If you can't tell, I fucking hate bodybuilders. I hate them. They're losers. They just sit in their room all day, eat their fucking protein, go to the gym. They don't socialize. And then once a year, they stand on stage in a fucking Speedo and flex. So what a lame lifestyle. You got to be a fucking loser to do that shit. I'm just being real, bro. I'm just being real. But no more 6 meals a day. I only eat 2 meals a day. And if I'm eating like my maintenance calories, it'll be 3 meals a day. But right now while I'm cutting, 2 meals a day. That's all you need. That is all you need. Right? So the way you do this is you're going to fast the first half of the day. Yeah, you're going to be hungry. It's going to suck. Your stomach's going to be growling. But then afterwards, you get to eat a really big meal. Because here's the thing. When you're eating 6 meals a day, those meals are going to be tiny. They're going to be pigeon portion sized meals that don't even keep you full, right? You have to like perfectly weigh out your chicken and rice. Sprinkle every little grain of rice on your food scale. You look like a fucking dork. Weighing out your butter? Weighing out butter? Are you fucking kidding me? It's stupid. Like, that's not how human beings are supposed to eat, right? But when you eat 2 big meals a day, now you don't have to worry about having like the perfect macros, weighing out your food. You can just eat. You don't have to think about it, right? This is one of my favorite meals I eat every single day. I eat it for dinner. It's a New York strip with a sweet potato, and then I put 2 eggs on it. 2 eggs, and I stir up the sweet potato and the eggs, and every bite of steak, I dip it in the sweet potato and egg mixed together. Fucking phenomenal. It's so fucking good, bro. Like, I'm getting hungry thinking about it. But if you're eating 6 meals a day, you can't eat like that. This meal right here is literally like over 1,000 calories. That's not happening on 6 meals a day. Like, your meals are going to be like 400 calories, 350 calories a piece. Like, you can't even eat a full steak in that kind of meal. You're going to have to cut out a steak into like 5, 6 different slices and eat it periodically throughout the day. Like, that's criminal. That's criminal. That is not how you're supposed to eat steak. Like, if you eat steak like that, you're a fucking freak. You're a weirdo. You're fucking weird. Like, you have problems. But yeah, 2 to 3 meals a day. That's the way to do it. And like I said, no more if it fits your macros, calories in, calories out. We need to actually focus on food quality. So revert back to the foods I told you to eat. And that's how you're going to eat to maximize muscle growth, strip off body fat, and make gains faster than you can believe it. So the last step of the average to aesthetics protocol, getting fucking chiseled. Burn fat faster than your mom's friend taking Ozempic. So again, before I go over the nuances of how we're going to, go about this cut, let's make a few, reminders. You want to follow the holistic dieting approach. This is going to maximize muscle growth. This is going to optimize your hormone profile. It's going to boost your metabolism, and you're going to be stripping off body fat faster than you can believe it. We also want to follow a minimalistic training approach because, again, this is what's going to really induce the most amount of muscle growth possible. You pair these 2 things with the cutting protocol I'm about to give you, you're going to be a recipe for making gains like you can't even fucking believe it. So we want to aim to lose 1 to 2 pounds every single week. So the way we're going to do that is eating in a 400 to 500 calorie deficit. Okay. This isn't like too extreme, right? We just want to keep it moderate, simple, so it's sustainable, so you can stick with it. So the way you're going to calculate this calorie deficit. So if you already know your goal body weight, the simple equation you can do is multiply your goal body weight by 12, and that will give you your daily calorie intake. But for those of you that don't know how much weight you need to lose, I'm going to make this really simple for you guys. So calculate your maintenance calories and multiply, or let me take that back. multiply your current body weight, so how much you currently weigh, by 15, by 14 to 15, depending on, your activity level. And that will give you a ballpark range of what your maintenance calories are. And then once you have that number, subtract 400 to 500 from it, and then you're going to be in a calorie deficit to lose a pound or two a week. It's as simple as that. So if you already know your goal body weight, if you're a little more experienced, multiply that by 12. If you don't know your goal body weight, just multiply your current body weight by 15 and then subtract 400 to 500 from that, and boom, fat loss burning machine. Now, cheat meals. Let's talk about it. It's okay to live life. It's okay to have cheat meals. But I highly encourage, while you're in this phase where you're getting chiseled, that you avoid cheat meals. Once you bump the calories back up to your maintenance, when you're peeled, when you're shredded, once you finish the diet, then you can start having cheat meals more frequently. But while you're in this fat loss stage, I highly encourage you to only do a cheat meal maybe like once every other week, because these can really set you back, if I'm being honest. Even if they fit within your calorie budget, it's like they don't always fill you up. They leave you bloated, and you're like digesting this food for like 3 days. Like it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So the way I would do it is just have it once every other 2 weeks if you're cutting, and make sure it fits within your calorie budget, right? So that might mean you have to fast most of the day. So keep that in mind. But once you're in your maintenance calories, I find it pretty easy to have like one cheat meal a week. If I want to eat out with my friends or family, I'll do it. If I'm on a date with a girl, I'm not going to sweat, getting gelato or whatever, right? But it still make sure that fits in your calories. But you got more calories to play around with when you're eating at your maintenance, obviously. But that's how you're going to, eat to burn fat faster than you can believe it. Now let's go over into some more advanced protocols. So fat loss overdrive. We talked about this. This is what's really going to kick in the fat loss and turn you into a fat loss burning machine. You're going to be an oven just roasting, melting off all the fat off your body. So you need to get a bare minimum of 10,000 steps every single day. 10,000, right? This is just a basic health standard. This is easy. And I can already hear some of you guys, oh, I don't have time to do 10,000 steps per day. That's too time consuming. I go to school. I work a job. I raise a family. Bro, you're fucking lying to yourself. You just lack time management. So I'm going to make this really easy for you. Every 10 minutes you walk is 1,000 steps. Every 10 minutes you walk is 1,000 steps. So with that information now, I'm going to make this even easier for you. First thing in the morning, 30-minute walk. 3,000 steps. Before bed, 30-minute walk, another 3,000 steps. You're at 6,000 steps. You are beyond halfway there. Beyond halfway there. The next step, and this is a cheat code for also boosting your metabolism and, allowing you to digest food faster. After every single meal, you're going to do a 10 to 15-minute digestion walk. So if you're if you're eating 2 meals a day, that's another 2,000 steps. If you are eating 3 meals a day, that's an extra 3,000 steps. So now you're anywhere between 8,000 to 9,000 steps. From there, I think you can figure out ways to get those last 1,000 to 2,000 steps in. Like if you have half a brain, I think you're more than capable of figuring out little things like parking in the back of the parking lot, taking the stairs or whatever, right? And if you can't think of stuff like that, like, dude, I can't fucking help you. Your brain doesn't fucking work. Now, let's go over the cardio protocol. I only recommend this protocol when you are in fat loss overdrive. If you are eating at your maintenance, do not do this. This is not sustainable, and it's going to be very intense. So right now, the only cardio I do is sprints. I only do sprints right now, but that's because I'm not in fat loss overdrive. If I'm in fat loss overdrive where I'm just trying to melt off fat, I don't really care about, a sustainable approach. I'm just trying to get the cut done and over with. We're going to do the treadmill every other day. And the routine you're going to do on the treadmill is you're going to do an incline of 10. Incline of 10. And you're going to set it on speed 3 to 3.5. And you're going to do that for 30 minutes, right? It sounds kind of easy, and it is pretty easy, but you're not going to hold on to the handlebars. You can't hold on to the handlebars. So you might have to start at speed 3 and work your way up. And you're going to do that for 30 minutes. Now it's going to get boring. it's going to get really boring. So I highly recommend while you do it, turn on a podcast, listen to some music, watch Netflix, watch a YouTube video, watch this YouTube video over again, watch a couple of my other YouTube videos, and just soak in my years of knowledge to improve your life. And then lastly, sauna daily. If you have access to a sauna, definitely take advantage of that. This is going to help you de-bloat and strip off tons of excess water weight, and it's going to make you lean out. Plus, there's a ton of other benefits to using the sauna. But yeah, that is it, boys. So let's go over some things you can do today to start getting results. So women are just falling into your lap. You know, you're finally achieving the dating life that you've dreamed of, the one I've been hyping up this entire video. First things first, if you don't already, get a gym membership. Get a gym membership. Walk to your nearest gym. You'll get some steps in, and you get a gym membership. Audit your diet. If you're eating a bunch of bullshit, cut it out immediately. I want you to go to the grocery store, go back to the diet section of this video, and look at the foods I told you to get. Look at the foods I told you to get. Stick to single ingredient whole foods. If it didn't come from the ground or an animal, don't put it into your body. It's as simple as that. This will make you feel incredible. You'll pack on muscle faster than you can believe it. But you're also just going to feel amazing. You're going to be mentally alert. You're not going to have brain fog. You're going to be able to tan easier. Your life quality is just going to be better. Next, adjust your training routine. So for those of you guys that already are in the gym, don't consider. You don't have a fucking choice. You're lifting 3 days a week. I don't care that you want to go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. You're going to make better gains this way. I know it sounds boring, but I'm about making progress. I'm about getting results. I don't want to waste my time lifting weights for nothing, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're just lifting weights, exercising, making progress slower than a snail. And then you cope and say everyone's fake natural. It's because you don't know how to fucking train. And then lastly, you got it in the bulk, bro. You got it in the bulk. Real talk, man. I'm telling you from experience. I get it. It's cool being the big guy, but like, you're fat. You're fat. Just be honest with yourself. You're fat. You got to lose the weight. So follow the cutting protocol I gave in this video, and you'll transform your physique in the next 90 days. But that's it for this video, boys. If you want to work one-on-one with me, I help guys maximize their self-image so they can improve their dating life, right? So in the last presentation I did on Short Guy Game, I taught you guys how to set up your dating app profile so you can effortlessly land 2 to 3 matches a week. So I help guys, improve their looks, their physique, their style, their haircut, their grooming, their social skills, all of that, so they can present themselves in the best way possible. So girls are giving them choosing signals on their day-to-day life. Girls are approaching them. Or, when you make a dating app profile and you take good photos, you're getting more matches than you know what to do with, because you just stand out amongst all these other guys. Like, sure, she's got guys in her inbox who are 6'2", 6'3", but because you're better looking and you're in better shape and you're just more well-rounded than these guys who have just relied on being tall their whole life to get girls, you're instantly her top pick because you just stand out amongst all those other guys, right? So if you want to be able to make a transformation like that, so not only you can have a better dating life, but honestly just feel more confident with the man in the mirror every single morning, because you feel like you're just living life to your true potential. You're going hard every single day. You're disciplined. You feel like you're living life with more purpose, which allows you to be more confident, speak with more conviction, go harder at work, chase your career, all that kind of stuff. You can click the top link in the description of this video to book a one-on-one coaching call with me, and we'll see if you're a good fit. If you're a good fit, I'll onboard you, and we'll make a, life-changing transformation for you, man. I'm telling you, bro, this changed my life, and I look forward to being able to help change your life. But if that's not something you're ready for, bro, totally cool. Totally cool. Keep watching my videos. Watch the Hinge guide I set up. The Hinge guide will literally teach you how to get 2 to 3 dates a week from watching that. Like, I literally already got guys DM me on Instagram saying, like, dude, like, holy shit, I tried that Hinge video. I tried the protocol, how to set up my profile on your texting guide, and I'm literally getting dates this week. So try it out. And if you get success from that, hey, maybe you'll trust me more to, hire me as a coach. But if not, that's cool, bro. Keep watching my videos. I post videos like this almost every single day to help you guys self-improve and be the best man you possibly can be. But that's it for this video, boys. Like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.